Some books deserve to be read in the wild, and Wranglestone is one of them. A love story set among the still waters, eerie woods, and high mountains of post-apocalyptic America, where the dead walk in winter and two boys learn what it means to survive and to love. Come with me to the mountains of Åre for this episode of Fantasy and Fika. Hello my friends and welcome to another episode of Fantasy and Fika. As you just saw, I was on the mountains and now I'm not anymore. I actually finished this on my way home, so I couldn't make the video in the mountains. But now I'm at home and it's time to Fika and talk about Wranglestone. The reason I bought this book in the first place was because I knew I was going to the mountains and I wanted some mountainy wilderness vibey books. So I actually Googled books that take place in the mountainside, and this came up first. And it's very pretty. I don't know if you can see it, but the words here are like 3D, and I love the cover. And where I was actually looked a fair bit like this, which was amazing. It's a gay zombie apocalypse young adult story, which I thought was an absolutely great setup. Peter, the main character, is 16 years old and he lives on this lake called Wranglestone. And they live on tiny islands on this lake in cottages that are up from the ground and away from the zombies, because the whole national park that they're in is infested with zombies. But Peter discovers not everything is right in this zombie world, and he is forced out onto the mainland, and he's forced to discover things he probably didn't want to discover, and he's forced to push himself out of his comfort zone while dealing with his relationship with Cooper, who is his like childhood sweetheart, and he's been in love with Cooper forever, but he hasn't really dared to do anything about it. Since it's a young adult, it reads pretty fast. It only has one point of view, Peter's point of view, and you discover and experience everything through him. There are no time hops or other points of views or anything. You just experience the story with Peter, which means people sometimes have to tell him things rather than we can discover it in a sort of another way. I think if you worked with other points of views or different time hops, then we could have been shown all the mysteries that now unravels a bit because people tell him what the truth is, which is felt kind of weird. I would rather having him discover it for himself rather than people actually telling him. The love story with Cooper is a little bit fast. Like it almost starts with them getting together and they're already in love. You don't get to follow them along until they realize they're in love, and we don't get to follow them along in the development of their relationship. But since they've known each other from birth, all that pre-relationship thing has already happened, and we come in just when they decide to go for it. And the love story is very sweet. There is, of course, a big problem that I'm not going to tell you, but it's got to do with zombies. But the love between them never falters, and I think that's great. I think if you read queer stories, the queerness is often a problem, either to other people in the book or to themselves. But here it's absolutely no problem. Everyone accepts them. It's not even like the fact that they are boys are not a problem at all, which I really like. I think happy queer love stories should be a thing. Okay, enough talk, let's fika. And now, my friends, you are going to experience something very, very Swedish. This is a delicato ball, which is basically oats, sugar, chocolate, and coffee covered with shredded coconut. This is like the most Swedish thing you can imagine. Like, forget meatballs and IKEA, delicato ball. just if you meet a Swede, just go delicatable. They will get excited, I promise you. It's so good. It's gluten-free and vegan, and it's basically a staple in my everyday diet. Perfect. I'm not normally fond of zombie stories because I think it's too much just running and escaping zombies. And I don't know, that doesn't really appeal to me. There isn't much running in this book. The zombie problem seems to be fairly under control. So it's not a lot of hunting, running, and stuff like that. It's not slow paced, but it doesn't feel stressed either. So I think that was a great way to do something new with a traditional zombie theme. If you're an adult or you read a lot, this might be a little bit too light for you. It is a young adult, and I think you should always have that in mind when you read it. You can't have the same in depth, the same advanced language, the same advanced plot as you have in books for adults. But if you just want a nice, cozy little zombie retreat, or if you have a young person around you that needs to read about a queer love story and you want to sort of drag them in with some zombies, this will be absolutely perfect. This came out in 2020. The second one is called Timberdark. It came out 2022. And I'm not going to buy Timberdark. I'm not going to rush to the bookstore for it. But if it comes my way somehow, then I might read it, because there is a little bit of a cliffhanger, I think, in the end. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's a cliffhanger or it's just confusing writing, or if it's just me being confused with English. So there is a part 2 if you want to read it. So all in all, I really enjoyed it. I read the first about 70 or 80 pages really quickly, so it drags you into the story, which I really like. It wasn't my favorite. I'm not going to rate it in stars because I think books are way too important and big to just narrow them down and reduce them to like a 1 to 5 point system. But I would recommend it if you want a like quick, easy read that is a little bit different from your normal straight fantasy books. I don't know. Or if you're going on holiday in a forest with mountains, it sort of sets the mood very nicely. Okay. Remember this, delicatable. Thank you for watching. Let's do this again sometime, shall we?